Hello, welcome here. I am Jaime Elizondo from Real World Ranching, and our goal is to help you maximize your productivity while improving your land faster. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be the masterclass at 6 p.m. Central Time. We'll be sending a Zoom link later today, and it will be an overview of the 6-step plan that I teach in Ranching Made Simple. Ranching Made Simple is a membership where you get doable and simple 6-step plan to improve your land and increase your profitability. The cost is only $47 a month. It is so much more valuable than that. And the information and steps you're going to get will truly transform your operation and your life to give you the confidence and peace of mind that you deserve. Today, I want to address one of our deepest fears when deciding on a grazing style and a grazing program. Today, I will go into overcoming the fear of overgrazing. Overgrazing. We usually think of overgrazing as having too many animals in an area where all the forest will be consumed over a period of time. We may think, like in the old ways, where livestock were left in a certain pasture for a long time until all the grass was consumed or gone. When we hear overgrazing, it may bring a picture of a degraded paddock where the grass was successively taken down until it was all gone. And while this picture corresponds to continuous grazing, we need to be aware of some definitions that will help you understand the difference between overgrazing and severe grazing. I'm going to tell you my story, how I arrived at this. When I started grazing management in 1984, I tried to have my livestock graze only around half of the available grass. But we usually allowed livestock to stay in a paddock for around from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. We were happy because we thought our livestock were not overgrazing, but they were. You see, overgrazing happens anytime a plant is grazed before full recovery, and our livestock are regrazing the regrowth, which in the green season is tall enough to be regrazed in 4 to 5 days. So we were leaving them too long in a certain paddock, 2 to 4 weeks. So they were overgrazing, and this resulted in shortened roots and weak, desirable grasses. More woody shrubs were invading, and the control of woody shrubs and replanting grass was taking all the fun out of the ranch. The ranch was losing money due to the low stocking rate and the pasture maintenance costs, which went up much faster than the price of our cattle. I remember that my grandfather made his fortune with cattle, buying cheap land and getting high stocking rates along with good daily gains on his cattle. Why were we not getting the same results? Why was the land degraded and continued to degrade? It took me years to understand what was happening, and now I would like to share it with you. At the time that my grandfather cleared the forest to plant pastures, the soil was rich and high in humus, and for the first 10 to 20 years, grass productivity and grass quality were very high. It took around 20 to 30 years of continuous grazing at high stocking rates to notice the damage that was done to the land. Fast forward to 1985. I had just graduated from college as an agronomy engineer majoring in cattle, beef, and dairy, and knew the conventional ways to improve our production. But that would not help us as input costs were too high to justify, and the land was too steep for extensive use of machinery, which would cause more soil erosion, and the soil had already eroded too much. We only had a few inches of topsoil left from burning every other year to control the woodage brush invading the pastures. And remember, we did not want to overgraze, but we were effectively overgrazing. Overgrazing happens when we regraze a plant too soon or too young, and mostly happens when grass growth slows down due to poorer growing conditions like a lack of rain or low temperatures. What we needed was a high harvest efficiency grazing so that the herd advanced slower through the property. But we were afraid of doing that, as we believed that would be overgrazing and we would leave the soil bare. Boy, were we mistaken. By trying to leave much residual to cover the soil, we were incurring selective grazing or low harvest efficiency grazing, which resulted in overgrazing by returning too fast to regraze a paddock, and that created weak, short roots of our best grass species. So we were shooting ourselves in the foot by not knowing how grass grows in the real world with livestock grazing it. After years of this, I started doing non-selective grazing or high harvest efficiency grazing on fully recovered plants as part of a grazing program. At first, my fear was leaving the soil bare without its armor, without enough soil cover, and that made me doubt, and I had much fear. But I kept on, and soon my fears were eased as the soil was not left uncovered. Why? Because we were grazing at a much higher volume of grass. Fully recovered plants give a much higher volume when grazed than very young plants. And there was plenty of litter in the ground after a total graze. But what convinced me was the very high grass production that came after the green season started. The regrowth from plants that were consumed at high efficiency grazing after enough recovery time was much leafier and grew faster than ever before, and my livestock did much better on it. I could measure and see with my own eyes that my stocking rate could go up even higher, and stocking rate determines profits on a farm or ranch. Now, at first, I had doubts, but after seeing the vibrant green color in the regrowth after a total or non-selective graze on fully recovered plants, I was elated. The grass looked as if it had received a fertilizer application, much leafier and with a vibrant green color. Thus, I started learning more about how plant physiology works out in the real world with grazing. And remember that tomorrow at 6 p.m., we will have the masterclass on the overview of the six-step plan that I teach in Ranching Made Simple. And the good news is that the early bird offer to join Ranching Made Simple is still available and will be available until this Friday. You get 50% off of the first month as a celebration of this new journey you will be taking. So you can join Ranching Made Simple today for only $23. And that is dirt cheap. And there is no excuse not to start improving your operation today. Very important. So please listen. If you are multitasking, please come back. Listen, enrollment closes this coming Monday, January 29th at 8 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you enroll today because enrollment will be closing in just a few days. Also, I want to add that you can cancel anytime, so there is no risk for you. Hope to see you inside Ranching Made Simple. Conclusions. Number one, enough soil armor is important to protect our soil. Excessive amounts of litter are not needed. Number two, overgrazing and severe grazing in a short period of time should not be confused as they are not the same. Three, overgrazing, which is regrazing plants before they have fully recovered, will weaken the plant and shorten its roots, the opposite of what we want. Four, a high harvest efficiency in a short time on fully recovered plants will leave ample litter to protect your soil. And five, a severe or high harvest efficiency grazing of fully recovered plants in a short time will enhance the leaf to stem ratio of the regrowth, creating leafy pastures. So attend the masterclass tomorrow at 6 p.m. for the overview of the six-step plan that I teach in Ranching Made Simple, where you will learn the simple steps you can gradually implement in your property to greatly improve it while you maximize your productivity and profits. All this at a very low fee of $23, which is a 50% discount off of the first month. Well, I hope you like the podcast. I think it is vitally important to understand what style of grazing and grazing program allows your pastures to regrow with more green leaves to be able to achieve success on your pastures and increase your productivity and profits faster and with less effort. Follow us at www.rwranching.com and subscribe to my weekly podcast. I hope to see you all tomorrow for this very interesting 6-step plan that I teach in Ranching Made Simple.